Oh no! It appears as if we have stumbled onto a traffic jam, which is the complete opposite of what I wanted to happen. Currently waiting on a door so I can deliver my load and get back to the truck stop. It looks like this guy already got one. And I was here first. That is most certainly not fair. And he's got a tanker. He's doing something completely different. So I suppose there has been no transgression against me. However, if this guy gets a door before me, I'll be quite upset. And by upset, I mean I'll just sit here and be like, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Who are those hippies walking over there? I see you. They're trying to sneak around and do something weird with their little hippie bag. It's got all stripes in there. I bet you they got some Kavifi 19s in there and they're gonna throw and spread them around. Look at that. My truck currently has 210,440 miles, and that means it's not really even broken in quite yet. And I need to get fuel. I finally got a door, and so I'm gonna go pull up. They gave me door number 10, and I gotta make a loop-de-loop over here. Make sure I don't hit anybody like this nice little Buick that's making its way. Oh, you asshole. That guy lied. He wasn't using his turn signal, so I thought he was going to come straight up. So, I'm going to go to my door. I'm going to get unloaded.
In 400 feet, turn right on.
And then we will do who knows what. Well, after that, I'm going back to the truck stop, and I guess I'll GoPro that part of the video. So, we'll see you then. I am done getting unloaded, sliding my tandems all the way forward. And I just delivered here, and I'm picking up at the same place, but that load isn't going to be ready until Monday. So I pretty much got the rest of the weekend off. So I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle out of here, and I'm heading over to the Loves in... Actually, I'm not going to say where I'm at. Don't need people stalking me or anything. My mask fell off. So yeah, I got the rest of the weekend off, which is pretty nice. That'll give me some time to record some videos that I've been wanting to record. Especially one.
A new message has arrived.
Shut up. Especially one that has to do with those doctors that recently came out and made a video, except not them, specifically Dr. Stella Emanuel, or as I like to call her, Dr. Demon Sperm, for reasons which I'll talk about in the video. I'm sure many of you have already heard of her. She is quite the character. And I believe truly that she should have her own television show because she is just that absolutely entertaining. I gotta stop all the way back here because I can't fit on the tracks, or at least on that little portion part up there. And this guy can. That's not even what he's gonna do. I don't understand that fad where people put so much camber on their wheels. It looks ridiculous, and all you do is end up spending a lot more money on tires. And I'm currently in Sugarland, Texas, is where I'm delivering to. And I'm going to head down over to the local truck stop. Not the closest one. The closest one I just spend 2 days over there and you have to pay $10 a day to park. And I really don't feel like spending another $30 to park there. So I'm going to the one that's not going to cost me any money and is a much nicer truck stop too, because it is a chain truck stop. You got this big thing among truckers how we should support the mom and pop places. Well, you know, if the mom and pop places weren't absolute disasters, you go in their bathroom and it looks like a wildebeest spend a couple weeks in there shitting all over the place and smelling the place up, and everything is greasy and grody. And then granted, there are some mom and pop truck stops which are really nice, but they are mostly few and far between. I personally don't have any certain allegiance to a type of business. I'm going to go with the type of business that gives me the best experience for my money. You know, just like the whole idea of buy American. Well, why would I buy something simply just because it's American? It's completely nonsensical. My questions are, is it made well? I mean, American cars aren't made well. American cars are pretty shitty. So no, I don't buy things just because they're made in America. I buy things based on the quality I'm getting for how much I'm spending for it. I'd rather spend $2,000 on a Japanese product than get the same thing for $500 made in America and have it not be as good. And like with most things, you get what you pay for. And of course, that's going to trigger a lot of people who think you should only buy things that are American. It's like, well, if you want to waste your money on stuff just because it's made in a certain region and somehow in your mind that makes it special, you go right ahead. But I work for my money and I'm going to choose how I spend it and on what. It is so weird, like driving a semi-truck when it is empty, because it is designed to be driven with a lot of weight on it. So like if I got a load that weighs about 40,000 pounds, which is getting up there to the max that I can possibly carry, it just drives so buttery smooth. But now with an empty trailer, it just feels like the wheels are going like that. And even the brakes are designed to stop a lot of momentum, a lot of weight. And when you're empty, you really have to feather the brakes, because if you really put down on them, you lock up the trailer wheels. You could even lock up the truck wheels very easily. So with having the rest of the weekend off, I'm hoping that I'll have some time. Well, I will have time, but I'm just hoping I can record some material and get it edited and posted. Besides this video that I'm making right now and everything you saw previously on my little adventure to deliver the shipment to the customer here in Sugarland. Ooh, look at this guy in this Honda Ridgeline. He's in a hurry. You just heard that Pop-Tarts are on sale at the HEB, which is a local supermarket. I don't know if HEB is just in Texas. I'm pretty sure it is. I just got an Instacart from HEB the other day, or yesterday actually. And they seem like a pretty cool store, or at least not as lame as some. Like, I'm from Chicago, and all we had there was Dominic's and Jewel for the longest time, and then we got a Meijer. I just like grocery stores that offer a lot of stuffs. I also don't know how this audio is going to come out, because I am using a lapel mic, and I, tried placing it in such a way that the microphone isn't going to rub back and forth. I can't be in that lane because I got to swing the truck wide. And I just noticed that there's 2 right turn lanes. Because if you end up going in the inner lane, you can't swing it wide, and then you end up on the curb. And that's not good. So we got about 22 more miles to go until I get to my designated destination where I'm going to spend the weekend. So hopefully on the way we see some interesting stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to be listening to me babbling incoherently and possibly looking at bad Texas drivers. Which, yeah, Texas has bad drivers. A lot of them. But the thing is, just because you cross an imaginary line that we like to call a border, you know, like growing up in Illinois and being from Chicago, we always hear like, oh, you know, those Wisconsin drivers, oh, those Indiana drivers. And you know they're saying the same thing about you. And so people think that just because they're within a certain region, within the boundaries of those imaginary lines, that somehow they are better drivers or they're the craziest drivers. Take it from somebody that drives on all roads all across the United States. Drivers in the United States universally suck. Most everywhere you go, they are horrible. Some places are worse than others, but for the most part, I mean, even if you look at the standards to get a driver's license in the United States, as long as you got a pulse, they pretty much give you one. There's really no bar for getting a license in the United States. You look at other countries like Finland and Germany, where the bar for getting a driver's license is very high. And it's also why they have a lot less traffic accidents per capita, because they just have better drivers. One thing I noticed about drivers in the I can't really compare because I don't spend much time in other countries, but just observing drivers 8 to 10 hours a day, day after day, people just don't pay attention to anything that's going on around them. They are just completely in their own little bubble, in their own little world, and that's where bad things happen. And also, if you are a driver and you're passing a semi-truck, do it as quickly as possible, because sometimes you get people kind of like this guy that sort of like to camp out on the side of the semi-truck. Listen, it doesn't bother me, but just know that if my driver's side steer tire were to suddenly explode, which does happen, it's completely going to veer the truck to the side, and I am going to smash into you, more than likely, and there's a very good possibility that you will be killed. So don't camp out on the side of semi-trucks. Just a heads up. It doesn't bother us, but we don't want your death on our conscience because you're asleep at the wheel, not realizing what's going on around you. Got west-southwest winds at 10 miles an hour. I was wondering why the truck was feeling a little like it's being shoved around, but there's a wind coming from the driver's side, which is west and southwest, and it's shoving me around a little bit. 10 mile per hour wind, depending on what it's gusting, isn't a real danger to an empty semi-truck. But you double that with even stronger gusts, that's when you got to start worrying a little bit. Ooh, there's an HEV right there. Before I started for driving for this company, which is really just a offshoot of the original company I started with 7.5 years ago. But before that, I was doing nothing but food service and food delivery. And then I got a call from a guy that works for this part of the company that deals with the chemicals and such like that. And he recruited me. He's like, hey, this is our deal. This is what we want. We want you as a driver. And I was kind of iffy because hauling hazmat, it's just a much bigger headache. But, I decided to make the leap and get out of my comfort zone and do it. And I'm so glad that I did do it. because dealing with food service and the excruciatingly long wait times that come with delivering to places like HEB, for example, distribution warehouses, or Walmart, and all different grocery stores, all different cold storage facilities, was just an absolute hassle. Making sure the trailer's washed out after every delivery to be ready for the next one. I was wasting so much time on things. And we're here, you know, I got to that delivery point, 45 minutes, 1 hour max, and I'm back on the road. So it is a much better deal. All the little hassles and intricacies of, you know, having a hazmat endorsement on your license and getting TSA background checks, it's all worth it in the end for all the hassle you don't have to deal with driving in a food service setting. That wind is really giving me the business. Yeah, I mean, if I let go of my wheel, it would just completely blow me off to the side of the road, and I have to keep compensating for the wind that's hitting me by steering off to the left. But fortunately, it's not gusting much more than that, because that's when things get really interesting. Excuse me. I've been up since 7 or 8 a.m. and it's 1 p.m. now. And I always get tired whenever I wake up and I'm just absolutely doing nothing. This is one thing that drives me crazy. People getting on an interstate and they think they're entering a parking lot. Just hit the gas. By the time you're at the end of the off-ramp, you should be matching the speed of the flowing traffic. And if you're not, well, then you're an idiot. Plain and simple. But again, as I was saying earlier, people just do not focus on what's going on around them. And it happens all the time, everywhere, no matter what state. People get it onto the interstate or lanes of high-speed travel, and they're just dilly-dallying, busy playing with their dill pickle, rather than putting the hammer down on their accelerator. Or hell, maybe their accelerator fell off, and they're rifling through their glove box looking for it. And then people complain when trucks hang out in the center of the left lane. That's why we do it. Because if we hang out in the right lane, we have to constantly keep slowing down for these human wastelands that cannot get on the road at an appropriate speed. And in a semi-truck, you lose speed. You know, it's not like you could gain it back right away. And that just burns more fuel. I mean, it might not be such a big deal for people that pay for their own diesel or have their company pay for their diesel, but for drivers like me, I have to pay for my own diesel. And so I'm not going to keep myself in situations where I constantly have to keep slowing down because some numpty doesn't know how to use their accelerator when they're getting onto an interstate. And yeah, if you see trucks hanging out in the left lane or the center lane or whatever, that's why. So instead of being angry at them, be angry at all the ding-dongs that can't get onto the interstate at an appropriate speed. And if they're not going to be ahead of me, I don't even bother moving over, because I'm not going to make unnecessary lane changes. Like, look at this guy. Gets on at the same speed everybody else is going. Good job, Lexus IS 300, or maybe that's an IS 350 driver. That's how you do it. I actually planned that out too. I talked to that guy earlier and I said, hey man, I'm going to be exactly here at this time. When you're getting on the interstate, I really need you to be at the right speed so I can get it for my video. Although I'm not even sure the video caught it, but that's fine. Probably should have put these things up, and that will allow to see better. There we go. More views. Or maybe that just completely messed things up and there's too much light coming in, although I do have the exposure at a 1.5 underexposure, because this GoPro is an older model. It's a Hero 3 Plus, and it's not as good as the Hero 8s. Although I was looking at Potato Jet YouTube channel, love his channel. He was showcasing some kind of different action camera, which I thought looked pretty cool. Not cool enough that like, oh yeah, I definitely go for that over a GoPro, but it is an alternative. Would be brilliant is if we could get like a full frame sensor action cam that's like the size of a brick. That would be brilliant. Imagine strapping that thing to your head and walking around, or to your chest. Oh no! It appears as if we have stumbled onto a traffic jam, which is the complete opposite of what I wanted to happen. Or maybe it's just a bunch of ding-dongs driving like morons, causing all the traffic to back up. Either way, traffic is slowing down. That person in that Toyota was on their phone, probably looking at Pornhub. It's like, oh, traffic's slowing down. I'm going to crank one out right now. It is a vaporizer, by the way. It's not the devil's lettuce. Well, at least it's still moving at 35 miles per hour, but it is about rush hour, early rush hour. So maybe things won't be so great. Well, I only got 2 more miles until I get to Interstate 10. So this isn't an absolute disaster. It would have been pretty sucky if I ran into this jam 10 miles back. Ooh, I think I spy a policeman. Is it? No. Yeah, listen to that power. 16 liter inline 6 diesel. That's real power. Not really. Although, when I'm driving, fully loaded trailer, obviously my 0 to 60 time is, I don't know, somewhere like 2 minutes maybe. But then when you get empty, it's like, wow, the truck feels so fast. But it's not fast at all. Like, even when I go home on my off time, my fiance has a Scion XB, which under normal circumstances would be an excruciatingly slow car. But when I drive a semi-truck, most of the time, getting into that 115 horsepower or whatever it is, XB, that thing feels fast as shit. And it feels like it handles like a Formula One car. It is just brilliant. Like, I wouldn't even have to buy a sports car because I could get the feeling of a sports car from a little 2 liter or 2.5 liter 4-cylinder or whatever it is. I don't know how many liters it is. So that's a bonus. Ooh, Mustang. When I was growing up, we always referred to Mustangs as a tampon on wheels because every pussy has one. Any Mustang lovers out there? If there are, listen, man. I like Mustangs too. especially the new style ones. They look absolutely brilliant. And the new Cobras, they look amazing. Would I ever buy one? Sure, if I had a disposable income of millions of dollars. But with a non-disposable income where, I work hard for my money, no, I would not buy a Mustang or any American car for that. But I love the Mustang, and I love like the Dodge Challengers, the Dodge Chargers, Chevy Camaros. I love all those cars, but I would never, ever buy one because they're just cars that are not going to last. At best, maybe 100,000 miles, maybe a little bit more. And ones like the Challenger Hellcat, that thing is definitely not gonna last long. Where are those sirens coming from? Oh, there they are. Fire department. Maybe somebody crashed it and caused an accident, and that's where they're going to, and that's why we're in this traffic jam. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be really disappointed if this audio doesn't come out decent. That guy's on his phone too. In his Ford, whatever that is. No, it's not a Flex. It's a Ford, whatever, SUV, mini SUV, small SUV, sub SUV. Because obviously an SUV is big, right? That thing's like a crossover. No, that's not a crossover. There's a word I'm looking for, and my brain just can't seem to find that file. Damn it. Now I feel stupid. But feeling stupid is much better than being stupid. There is a distinction. There's nothing wrong with feeling stupid. People that never feel stupid are people that have like delusions of grandeur. And they suffer from a Dunning-Kruger effect where they're pretty much incompetent at everything that they do, but they think that they're best at it. Oh, that's TX99. No, I gotta go. I-10 West. Toll road begins. I really hope I'm able to find parking at this truck stop, because this truck stop tends to be extremely busy most of the time, and it is within a metro area of Houston, Texas, and those truck stops tend to be busy all the time, having trouble to find spots. But it also is a weekday, isn't it? It's Friday, so maybe I'll find one. I hope I do. But before I do, I'm going to have to fuel up the truck. And we shall do that together. As one. Kind of. You guys are, well, out somewhere, whoever's going to watch this eventually, and I'm here in real time. But then when you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it, you can be like, we are fueling this truck together. Like a family. I don't know where I was going with that. 5 more miles. I need to get across some lanes real quick. I hope this Volvo semi-truck doesn't mind me blowing past him like so. Although he's already way back there. I'm getting off at Peterson Road, and that's Peterson with a D. Interesting. Those winds are really, now I'm driving into them. When you're driving into a strong headwind like that, fuel mileage just drops so badly. Oh, but it's really gusting now. I'm gonna have to two-hand the steering wheel, white knuckle it. Because now there's a lot of traffic on the road and I don't want to end up getting blown into some poor chap that's trying to watch Pornhub on his cell phone. While driving. That poor guy's broke down. It sucks. I've been there many times, broken down on the side of the road, disappointed and angry, annoyed. I think that was that was a Ford that was on their phone. I thought it was the same guy in front of me that was on the phone that I saw before, that I couldn't remember what kind of SUV it was. A mid-size SUV. That's what I was looking for. Mid-size SUV Ford, which is the Ford Escape, I believe, maybe. Unless there's a new one that I just don't know about. Are there, maybe some of you might know, I'm not one of these people that spends a whole lot of time on YouTube. I have certain people I subscribe to, like Potato Jet that I mentioned earlier. But I have never seen like truckers on YouTube or that, consistently make videos about, just whatever. I mean, I see trucking videos and such like that, but I don't know. Maybe just most truckers don't have the technological skill. It's a joke. Don't get triggered. These fuel stations, Buc-ee's, they are insane. They have like 300 fuel pumps. Like that whole line right there is all fuel pumps. And they got these big, massive lots, and they don't allow truckers. I mean, I don't blame them. I think if I had my own property, I wouldn't want truckers there either, because truckers tend to be really disgusting. Not all of them, grant you. There's a small subset of them that throw their trash wherever. They piss in jugs and just toss them willy-nilly wherever they want. And they ruin that for everybody. So I don't blame Buc-ee's for not wanting truckers on their lot and not having any truck parking. But Buc-ee's, anybody, like a CEO or a chief financial officer, if you're watching this, listen, I don't throw my trash anywhere. I don't do piss jugs, tossing them all over the place. So maybe you can cut me a deal, like give me a special sticker that has like the Buc-ee's logo, and I put it on my window and I can park on your lots, no problem, because I want to check those stores out. They look massive, and it's a gas station that's the size of a supermarket, and they got 300 fuel pumps. There is my destination. I don't know if the camera can see it, but it is that green and red and light with the red little heart on there. Ooh, that was a strong wind gust. And diesel over here is $2.18, which is excellent. That's a pretty good price. I always have trucks parked on the side over here, which usually means that there very well might not be any parking in the lot. Or maybe they're here from last night. I don't know. But I really, 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 really hope I can find a spot. Because if I can't, I'm probably going to throw a hissy fit, and then I'll have to discard this whole video. Because I don't want people thinking I'm a crybaby. Even though low-key I am, because I'll be throwing a hissy fit because there's no parking spots. Or maybe I'll just make one of those really awkward videos where I just stare into the camera and I'm like full-on crying, like tears streaming down my face like crazy and snot hanging out my nose. Well, the fuel pumps are quite busy. Let's see who I can get behind. What's a good one? Oh, that one was open, that bastard. Oh, there's one open right there. Yeah. One thing I love about Love's truck stops is that I can set up the fuel pump on my phone. Just needs to Face ID me. Pump 22. So we're going to go ahead and get pump 22. We're going to do diesel reefer and DEF. And DEF is diesel exhaust fluid, and that stuff smells like death. You know those little sticks that sometimes they have in first aid kits where you break them open? And
You have 7 hours and 26 minutes of remaining drive time.
Shut up. You break the little stick and you put it under somebody's nose if they're unconscious, and it gives you like this stinging sensation in your nose. That's basically what diesel exhaust fluid smells like. And on a hot day today, you get a whiff of that, man, that'll straighten out your nose hairs. So there, the pump is all set up. Just got to move up a little bit. Or a lot of bit. All right. Got my gloves so I don't touch those greasy ass pump handles and get my hands all dirty, because then I have to wash them later. Although it wouldn't be such a bad time right now, because after I get parked and after I finish this video, I'm heading inside to take a shower, and maybe I'll take a small video in there, show you what their showers look like for anybody that's remotely curious. Set up this one. And that's fueling a semi-truck. Now I got two 80-gallon tanks, so if you're bad at math, that equals 160 gallons. And it takes a little bit of time to fuel up. And usually I take that time to walk around my truck and trailer, make sure all my tires haven't blown out. Should have made sure those are closed before, but it's not a big deal because I got my big hefty lock on there, so it's not like the doors could come open at all anyways. Check these tires, everything's done, good. 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 53 gallons fueled up so far. Everything's looking all right. And then to help pass the time, I I can always wash my windows because they get very dirty very fast.
Your shower is ready. Please proceed to shower.
And I just heard one of my pumps click. I believe it was the one on the other side. Maybe this side, but... yeah. Both of them. Let's finish filling it up the rest of the way. Definitely don't want to overdo it. Yep, like that. Got a little squirt out there. That's good. Now I just got to finish up the other one, then I'm going to fuel up the DEF and then the reefer. $103 gallons so far, 104. Clean that up. And now for the DEF, the stinky stuff. Actually, need to open that up first. Ugh. Come on. Sometimes those hoses are so pain in the ass to get out. And you got to hang on to them because that little thing snap right in there. You can't just leave that nozzle doing its own thing. Didn't need much of that, but that one I fuel up every time I stop because I always like to keep a full DEF tank so it doesn't get all crusty on the inside and start causing me DPF issues. Now I got to move the truck up a little bit. To fuel up the reefer. Leave the truck running this time. I don't really use the reefer much in the summertime, only in the wintertime. And if you don't know what a reefer is, it's not the kind that you smoke and get eye off of. It's a refrigeration unit on the front of the trailer. That's also not going to be a whole lot because it is mostly full, but I do like to keep it topped off. That's really not a lot, not even 1 gallon worth. We'll squeeze 1 gallon in there. There we go, 1 gallon. I thought it was gonna get more because I thought I'd used up more, but I guess that's it. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and go park it. And that's gonna be the end for this video because I need to take a shower because I am so gross. Being in these long sleeve shirts, which I have to for the customers I go to. Take my glasses off.
You have 7 hours and 17 minutes of remaining drive time.
Shut up. She's always telling me what I got going on. I know what I got going on. You don't tell me, I tell you. Alright, come on, man. Either cross or don't. Get off the phone, put your mask on. Become aware of what's going on around you. It's not a walking park. It's a truck stop. Move your ass. Oh yeah, there's parking spots galore. I usually try to park at the further parking spots just to get some exercise walking back and forth. Because being a trucker, you don't really have much opportunity for exercise, so I try to get what little I can. I'm going to get myself set up, and I am going to park right there. I have my wheels all the way forward, so that's going to make it a bit of a pain in the butt. Watch my backside. Plenty of room there. Cut it a little too close, but that's all right. And we are almost there. Actually, we are there right now. Oh, and this guy's taking off. USA America! Yeah, get her done, boy! Get on that road, driver, get her done! Alright, so that is the end of this video. I guess I'll have to wait to see how the video and the audio came out, but if you have watched this whole thing, I appreciate it very much for all the people that actually view my videos and don't just comment something about a video I did 10 years ago. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. This guy right here, he would definitely do it. I know he would. Even though he's wearing his mask on his chin, that's fine. That's great. But he would do it, and so should you. That's it for now. Oh, I have to put myself off duty. See you on the next one.